It has been 15 hours since the New York Knicks survived one of the craziest roller coasters you'll ever be on. And I don't know about you, and I say this as an IBO, I'm still shaking from last night. The emotions of being excited early. Ah, look at us. We came out. We dropped 37 in the first quarter against the Pistons. To then getting depressed as the Pistons rage back. To then saying, whoa, Mikal Bridges' layup line worked. They came out and had a great third quarter. Then there's a 13-0 Piston run. Then there's Jalen Brunson getting chanted at that he's a flopper. Calls overturned. Cat gets fouled out. They're down by 7. Brunson's a mess. And then, and this is all that matters because everything I just said is true, but then that man put his cape on again.
There's a reason he's the king.
There is a reason that the king said, oh, I'm 1 for 10 from the field in the fourth quarter. Oh, I'm dominating the basketball with my usage percentage at like 90%. It's okay, boys. Get on my back, and I will lead you for the third consecutive year to the Eastern Conference semifinals.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, Osceola Thompson, here's a pair of skates for you to wear.
Yes. That was, on every level, one of the craziest, most heart-wrenching. I'd be pissed off, then I'd be excited, then I'd be pissed off again, then I'd be excited, then I'd be relieved, then I'd be pumped up basketball games I have ever seen. Is that summed up well, Teak?
It was perfectly summed up. But that's exactly the frustration that the Knicks fan has felt this entire series. This game felt like this entire series. It felt like the Knicks are in control. The Knicks are running away. They're going to win this game by 25. They're going to win this series 4-1. The Knicks are the better team right now. And then all of a sudden, here come the Pistons finding a way to come back. And so you get this sense of relief, I think, more than excitement, to be perfectly honest with you. It almost feels like this Knicks team, while flawed, while disappointing in moments, just has this, I don't know, it's not the grit that they had last year, but there's a perseverance mostly generated by Jalen Brunson. And it's why when you have a guy like that, and it goes back to Game 5, you can't be on the bench, man. He showed why he can't be on the bench.
Yeah, no, in a way, you're right.
So
it reminded you of the absurdity of that. Yes.
And so as I was watching the end of the game, in my mind, I'm just like, dude, all you had to do was be in the game last game. And we're not even having this Game 6, right? And so it's the frustration, and I feel more relief for Knicks fans than I do exultation. You know what I mean?
You know, and I totally get that.
We escaped this one.
I think
we got by this Pistons teams, which give them credit. They don't quit, man.
No, they're gritty.
They really don't quit.
They were getting punched in the mouth in the first quarter, and I thought for a second, wow, Knicks may blow them out. This may be easy.
No doubt.
And they responded at every turn.
But it happens. It's happened this whole series.
Yes.
So, I mean, credit the Pistons, but the Knicks are relieved to get through them right now.
Yeah, you should be excited today. We have created a brand new rule here on Evan and Tiki that we will enforce for at least 2 hours. I can't say the entire show, may not be appropriate the entire show, but there's a word that we are banning here on this program for at minimum 2 hours, maybe longer. It's the C word, and that's the Celtics. We will not talk about the Celtics.
Who?
We will not refer to the Celtics.
I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Exactly. Well done, Teak. And for the next 2.5 hours, because eventually we will have to use that inappropriate word, the C word, the Celtics. But for now, I think it is very, very important for the Knicks fan out there to not think about your future, not think about your destiny, not think about Monday night in Boston, but strictly think about what you just did. And what you just did is advance to the second round of the playoffs for the third straight year. And here's the other thing you did. And sometimes I say to you that not being a fan will give you a different perspective.
Right.
I obviously despise the New York Knicks. And trust me, this is going to go to a good place. And when you despise a team, you watch a game the opposite way Tommy watched this game. I watched this game the opposite way Gio watched this game. I watched this game as a hater. Let's go Knicks. I'll be the first to admit that. And let me say this with the utmost respect as a hater. I don't care. I do not care that Jalen Brunson was 1 for his first 10 in the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson puts the fear of God in me because I know what you know, what we all know, which is if you let that man and give that man enough opportunities, he's going to snatch your soul. And so I want to take you back to that incredible encounter when Thompson, who has done a great job, or as great of a job as one can do against Jalen Brunson in this series, is matched one-on-one against Jalen Brunson. I want to take you through my mind as a hater to pay the respect that Jalen Brunson deserves on this Friday afternoon. Because, again, I'm coming from a different perspective, but I think a perspective you'll appreciate.
No, I get that, and I appreciate it as well.
Thank you.
It's the first time I can say that J.B. Bickerstaff overthought it and probably made a critical mistake.
Well, the critical mistake was not doubling him.
That's what I mean.
Because
you've been helping, trapping, putting bodies on Jalen Brunson this entire series.
Yes.
And with 9 seconds left, you're going to say, all right, you got it, Asir Thompson. One-on-one, bro. It's all you.
And the thing about Asir Thompson is he's been great in this series, and he provides that length, and he's dangerous.
Yes, but the most clutch player in basketball right now, with the ball in his hands, with 9 seconds left, you can't put a second-year player on.
And that is exactly what I'm thinking. So ball's inbounded. Jalen has the basketball. And I know that some Knicks fans didn't like that there was a lot of ISO ball. Well, welcome to the NBA. If you have a superstar who's like the modern Michael Jordan in the final 2 minutes of games, you're going to play ISO ball, and no one's going to complain about it today, right? No one's going to bitch about it? Okay. So ISO ball to Jalen Brunson. And I am standing in front of my TV now because this was scintillating TV. All right, hater, lover, doesn't matter. This was amazing. And I'm standing up, and I'm pointing, send another man. Give him help.
Why do you want him to give help?
Because if I'm the
you
Piston,
wanted it. No. But hold on. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, timeout.
30-second right here.
Think Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
You're saying this like you're rooting for the Pistons.
Well, I am rooting for the Pistons.
Why are you rooting for the Pistons?
Because I'm a hater. So I'm watching this.
You just wanted a game 7.
And I'm screaming at JB, double him. As soon as Jalen Brunson, with that sickening, disgusting crossover, put Asar on skates, that moment where Jalen was set up for the open three, and I want everyone to be honest about what they thought in that moment. My thought in that moment was, bleep, 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 bleep. Because I knew what you knew.
Right, buckets.
Jalen Brunson was not missing that shot.
Because he had made so many contested, unbelievable step-back threes already in the game.
He wasn't missing that one.
You just knew he wasn't missing. And that was essentially what they would deem wide-ass open.
Wide-ass open because Jalen Brunson created such an incredible crossover against Asar Thompson that this all-world defender, a guy who will eventually, he's only been in the league for 2 years, missed a lot of time to injury last year, we know how good his brother is, eventually is going to be regarded as one of the better defensive players in the league.
Right.
So we'll know him in a different vein 5 years from now. Jalen Brunson embarrassed his ass.
Right.
And that 2-second moment, to me, lasted 30 minutes. Because I'm staring at it saying, oh, my God. And we all knew it was going down. We all knew it was going to be nothing but the bottom of the freaking net. So tell me, as Jalen is standing there after he puts Asar on skates, give me what's going through the tiki brain.
Through the tiki brain? Well, we know what immediately happened. This is before you get the tiki brain thing. Is you started getting Brian Russell comparisons with Michael Jordan.
The Jordan Russell thing. I get it.
And you know what I said?
What?
Michael cheated. Jalen didn't.
I think Jalen may have pushed off, too.
No, he didn't.
I'm just kidding.
No, he didn't. He just let him follow his arm. It's like, all right, you want to go follow that arm? Ball's coming back this way. See ya. The first thing I'm thinking is, there's too much time. That's the first thing I thought.
I'm glad you said that because
too much time.
A lot of people brought that up, and my defense of the King would be when you create a look like that.
Right.
You can't get cute.
No, I agree. I agree.
Hit the shot.
Right. It's not like you're going to let him come back over. All right, there's 3 seconds left. All right, now I'm going to step back and take a contested shot. You got to take the open one. I get it. But my first thought was, damn clock, 3.2. Oh, that's too much time.
So in that moment, you're thinking too much time.
Too much time. And by the way, I was right.
Well, to a degree, yeah. More on that in a second.
Dead right.
No, you're right. There was too much time. Tommy, as Jalen Brunson, who, again, did not have a great fourth quarter. That's the beauty of Jalen Brunson. As he creates the separation, and he's standing there, about to take this open three that you'll remember forever, what's going through that little brain of yours?
As Mariano Brunson crossed over. And to me, what I love about it, being a professional wrestling fan, when the Detroit Piston fans are chanting flopper, which I give them credit for, original,
amen.
I appreciate it.
As opposed to being vulgar.
But here's the problem, and I told Sean this yesterday. Lesson here. You come at the king, you better not miss. And the king didn't miss. To drain that 3, much like Hart did last year in Philadelphia. And a part of me was like, you know what? Evan's wife is a nice lady. She puts up with Evan. But screw her. We should have been in Detroit for that. Oh, that's sports nirvana.
Honey, I want to thank you again for not allowing us to go to Detroit because that would have been painful. But you're right. Jalen Brunson, since he's walked through that door, has been a godsend. And he's been a great player. And we've had this inane discussion on this radio station. Is he a superstar? What he became last night, and I get it's the first round. I get it. I know that's the hater. It's the first round. We're calling him a legend. Let's understand the moment. Let's appreciate what he was able to do. But what Jalen did in this series and what he did last night is he went from being just a superstar to a badass.
Yeah.
Because the real superstars in this sport not only play with high expectations, they play with hate. They play with fan bases despising them. And throughout this series, and it's a credit to the Piston fan, they have treated Jalen Brunson like he is evil. Right. Like he is Michael Jordan, chanting flopper as they were reviewing that play with about 5 minutes to go, which did get overturned. And he responded. And he not only responded, Teak, from the crowd and the chants. Again, this is really important. He responded from a dreadful fourth quarter. He was not great in the fourth quarter.
What did he take, 16 shots?
14
shots in the fourth quarter. But here's the thing that the Piston fan didn't realize that they were doing. By being so vocal and adamant against him, the best player on the other team, you essentially were making him a star. You were because of the constant fixation on him, you made him, you justified his stardom. And so it doesn't matter what people say, star, superstar. He's the guy you hate on the other team. And when you hate the guy on the other team because he's beating you, that makes him a star. He's living in your head, and he will live in Piston fans' heads for the entire offseason and probably into next season.
Oh, no doubt. That's one thing. Like, the Knicks story isn't over yet. There's more to this season, and there's more to next year and the year after that. There's a chance that when we're writing the history books about Jalen Brunson and Sean Morash is doing a Cinco de Fivo reminiscing on Jalen Brunson's career, there's a chance that this shot is, number 5. Or maybe it's not even in the top 5, especially if this team goes on to win an NBA championship at some point.
It's a big one, though.
But it's a big one. But I can guarantee you this, and you hit on it. You know where it stands in Detroit modern sports history? Pretty damn high. Because the Piston fan up 7 with 2.5 minutes to go, or in your case, down 7 with 2.5 minutes to go, they had it. They had the game won.
Right.
The story on today's radio station would have been far different. We would have been talking about Karl Anthony Towns.
Yep.
We would have been talking about Brunson's struggles. We would have been talking about a million other reasons why Loogie and I are going to sit through a Game 7 at Madison Square Garden.
The last play not fouling up 3.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't go through Beasley's hands, he ties the game, they lose in overtime.
I want to get to that in a few minutes because there's a lot on that play that we will address. But instead, Jalen Brunson changed the entire story. Everything that would have been the negative of losing Game 6 got changed because this guy in the moment stepped up when he had to. And it wasn't just the 3. How about Jalen Brunson underneath the basket, slipping and falling and putting that layup in?
How the hell did he even keep his dribble? Schroeder had no idea. Schroeder just gave up on the play. Like, all right, that ball's mine. That's going the other way.
Incredible.
It was unbelievable. And then he deked him before he left. Before he left. Like, that was an unbelievable play. And the level of difficulty, I think, is not expressed enough.
Especially as he's falling to the ground.
Yes,
like
he's about to sit down. Like, his ass is about to fall onto the court. And he keeps dribbling, steps out of it, has a presence of mind to know where he is. And it's like he's ambidextrous, by the way. When he goes up, it doesn't matter which side of the rim he's on. He's getting the kiss and going in exactly how he wants it, regardless of what side of the basket he's on.
So he recovered from this bad fourth quarter, but it wasn't just him. And I'm going to make everybody feel better right now because I don't know if anybody looks at it this way. I'm going to look at it this way for you. I think a putback down by 2 with 35 seconds to go in a Game 6, to me, that's worth at minimum 2 first-round picks. So you're almost there.
2?
You almost got to the 5.
Okay, you throw in the dunk, we got another 2. So we're almost there.
You're almost there. Ask
by the
yourself
way,
that.
A nasty posterizing dunk where he didn't even have the ball in his hand. It wasn't in his hand.
The nasty.
It was like resting on his wrist. And he still dunked it over Cade Cunningham.
I would say the nasty posterizing dunk is worth a pick swap. I would go with that. Or maybe this year's second.
Give me at least a pick.
But honestly,
give me at least a pick.
If Mikal Bridges,
pick.
I'm not giving you a pick. I'm not giving you any more than I've already given you,
bro.
I'm not doing it. But I will
remember it.
They'll remember it, but they lose this game.
It was over Cade Cunningham.
All right, it's just a highlight.
Give me the pick.
I want the putback on the Jalen Brunson miss.
Give me the pick. We already did that one. That's 2 picks.
I'll give you the Milwaukee pick. Is that
Excellent.
fair?
Perfect.
All right. So we've accomplished 3 picks based on Bridges' Game 6 performance because here's the honest truth. If Mikal Bridges doesn't tip in the Jalen Brunson miss to tie the game with 35 seconds to go, the Knicks lose this game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if the Knicks lose this game, they're playing a Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. Who the hell knows? So when we're looking at all you gave up for Bridges, I think that tip-in's worth at least 2. And you want the dunk to be worth a pick swap or the Milwaukee pick, you've almost made the trade worth it.
That's right.
You're on your way.
All that matters is what you do in the postseason.
You're right.
Right? You trade for Mookie Betts, and all you got to do is win a championship to justify it. And guess what? They've won 2.
Absolutely. So I think you're halfway.
Talking about the Dodgers, of course.
I think we figured that one out.
I mean, people are on basketball mind right now. What the hell are you talking about Mookie Betts for?
They do have the best record in the National League now that the Mets have been tripped up a little bit. So Mikal Bridges is tipping, worth 2 first-round picks. Jalen Brunson being the man, he's worth everything. And he's the reason why the New York Knicks survive. And eventually, as this show rolls on, we will mention the C word. But for now, let's not use that inappropriate word known as the Celtics. Let's think about the moment. And the moment is the Knicks have advanced. We'll get to your calls coming up at 888-808-1019.